AmaZulu King Misuzulu Zwelithini is expected to hold an Imbizo with Amakhosi and Izinduna to discuss challenges facing the iThala Bank as well as the iNgonyama Trust. Earlier on, we did try to get hold of our reporter, Simphiwe Makhanya. We had a little bit of technical challenge, but I understand we now have him back on the line. And Simphiwe, you were speaking to Reverend Buthelezi about what would be happening at the Imbizo.
Indeed, Diabo. In fact, those who are going to be attending this particular Imbizo have started, in fact, arriving here at Emashobeni Royal Palace in Nomgoma. I'm just going to step out of the shot and give our viewers a sense of the current proceedings here at this palace where this Imbizo is going to be held. At the moment, His Majesty King Misuzulu Zwelithini is currently, engaging with the Minister of Agriculture, that's Minister John Steenhuisen, about the issues of the foot and mouth disease that have been, highlighted across, or rather in some parts of the province of KwaZulu-Natal. But as you indicated earlier on, Diabo, that we were engaging with COGTA MEC, Reverend Thulasizwe Buthelezi, just to get a sense really of the importance of today's Imbizo. Reverend, thank you once again for your time.
Indeed, it's a very important occasion in the life of the Zulu nation, because His Majesty has convened this Imbizo to get the thoughts and discussions, particularly of Amakhosi, Izinduna, members of the royal family, about issues around iNgonyama Trust and iThala Bank, because the suspension of iThala Bank has brought many families into distress, and the way that the board of iNgonyama Trust was constituted, Amakhosi felt that the board should be dissolved. So today is an important day for His Majesty to interact with those who are in charge of looking after the land of iNgonyama Trust, which is Amakhosi. But I think it's important also, Mr. Makhanya, to stress that the last Imbizo was held in 2018 July by the late King, His Majesty King Zwelithini, and the subject on the agenda was the land of iNgonyama Trust. And again now, 7 years later, we are holding another Imbizo which His Majesty has convened again to speak about iNgonyama Trust. So clearly the land of the Zulu Kingdom is under threat, and His Majesty has ensured that he will do everything in his power to defend the land.
On the iThala matter, Reverend Buthelezi, what can an occasion such as this one do to actually address that particular matter? Because we know it is before our courts, and of course we are a constitutional democracy. I suppose the question is, what sort of outcomes can we expect from this particular gathering?
It's very distressing because, Amakhosi themselves, they have more than 33 million rand, which is their investments from their own clans, which are stuck in iThala. Ordinary people, ordinary folk, have their money stuck in iThala. Therefore, we do respect the judicial process, but at the same time, I think those who are directly affected by the closure of iThala, which is mainly the rural people under Amakhosi, do have a right to express their view. And I think today is a platform for them to express their frustration and also to express their wishes going forward about what the future of iThala should look like.
On the iNgonyama Trust Board, MEC, in Parliament, there was that issue that was raised to say the King's decision to suspend board members was actually illegal. Again, I ask this question, calling this Imbizo, how is that going to help the process?
The land belongs to the Zulu people. The land was here before there was Parliament. Even in 1994, many people tried everything to take away the land of the Zulu people, were it not for the efforts of the late Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, who stuck to his guns to ensure that the land is secured under iNgonyama Trust. Therefore, the Zulu people would never allow a situation, whether it's Parliament or a minister or anyone else, who can dictate as to how they should govern their own affairs. And therefore, the King, in our own system, is the supreme head of the whole system of governance. And once he has convened Amakhosi, nothing stops Amakhosi from taking resolutions with regards to their own land.
Reverend Buthelezi, when we spoke to you, I think in December, there was that letter which was issued by His Majesty regarding your services being terminated as the AmaZulu traditional Prime Minister. At the time, you said you had not heard from the King about that particular decision. Is that still the case? What are you? Is he interacting with you as the culture minister or as what?
Well, as I said in December, is that His Majesty has never raised any issue with me. I'm still operating my duties. I've met His Majesty many times now since the year has started, and he continues to instruct me in the same role that I've been playing. Therefore, I do not know the source of that letter, but mine is to comply when His Majesty gives me instructions.
Is it your answer, Reverend Buthelezi, that you remain the AmaZulu traditional Prime Minister?
No, my answer is that I do any duty which His Majesty instructs me to do. And he has instructed me to convene this Imbizo. I have done exactly that, and any other instruction in whatever capacity His Majesty entrusts me with, I will execute.
As you said before we let you go, I know we're running out of time, you say you interact with the King on many occasions. Have you sought clarity though from him with regards to that particular role?
Well, he has never raised this issue. He has never raised the issue of a letter, he has never raised the issue or all those controversies which were there. But I mean, what is important now is not to be sidetracked from the very weighty and important issues which we are here to discuss.
Reverend, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
There is Reverend Thulasizwe Buthelezi. He is the Kokta MEC here in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Again, trying to explain this particular confusion, because when this invitation was issued, it was issued under the Department of Culture in the province to say there's going to be this Imbizo. But then questions have since been raised about whether this particular Imbizo has been called by government, as of course he's the MEC responsible for Kokta, or as the AmaZulu traditional Prime Minister. But the short answer to that particular question is that he continues his duties whenever the King, basically instructs him to do anything that the King wants him to do. So basically that's the story as it stands with regards to that. But in terms of this particular Imbizo, before we hand back to you, Diabo, in studio, we are expecting Amabutho to start making their way into the palace, where then there's going to be that formal, meeting that is going to be, taking place, where Amabutho will raise their views as well as the King with regards to where to from here, particularly on the issue of iThala Bank as well as the iNgonyama Trust. But let me step out of the shot. I can hear singing coming through from the back. So I believe it's that first group of Amabutho that have started arriving here at this palace. Diabo, over to you in studio.